welcome back to New Realities. I'm here with my special co-host, Suzanne Ross, along with one of our very special guests and someone coming to the upcoming Sedona Ascension Retreat, Ann Tucker. Do you want to give a formal introduction to Ann, Suzanne?
I can let Anne introduce herself, but I will tell you this, that Anne came to my Sedona Transcendence Retreat in September of last year in Sedona, and her just presence is so radiant and she's so authentic and sincere and funny and friendly, and it was such a compelling transmission of angelic messages on stage that I knew that I wanted to have her back. I wanted her to come to my Sedona Ascension Retreat in March. And she said yes. And so a lot of people at that conference right then and there were signing up for my March event because they wanted to see Anne come back to Sedona. And Anne does have a new book out. I guess you released it in November of last year, but it's new to me, this what's coming next. And I've been spending the morning diving into it and watching the YouTube channelings and just loving it. And
Oh,
so,
thank you
yeah,
so
maybe
much.
just for those who don't know you and about you, maybe just give them a little background.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and I loved your retreat, Suzanne. I'm so excited to come to this one coming up, the Ascension Retreat. It's just such an incredible experience to mix in a community of amazing, growing spiritual people. So, yes, I'm so looking forward to it. So I was thrilled when you asked me to come. And so yeah, so I am a trance channel. I didn't always start out that way. I started my life very conventionally. I did the corporate route and but the call to spirit caused me to make to change from a very conventional life to a very unconventional life. And as a trance channel, I channel the angels. And I do that. I go through I go into a meditative state and I open up and I bring them through and I channel information, but also healing. I'm predominantly a healer. And yeah, I have, even though people would have thought at the time when I made this decision that I was crazy, I would love to say I have never looked back. I've mostly never looked back. In the beginning, maybe I looked back a couple times, but not since then.
Well, what's so great about you, Anne, is that you are bringing in this future awareness, and that's some of the stuff we really want to get into today because you're updating all this current time that we're moving into a definitely a new time, a new energy, a
Yes.
new frequency. And just before we get there, let's just say, Suzanne, your event is coming up March 14th to the 16th in Sedona, Arizona. That go to Sedona Ascension Retreats. Here's the poster for it. And
Yes.
I
We're
think
close, Alan. It's only 5 weeks away now.
I know, and besides Anne, there's some amazing other people coming. William Henry, Bashar, who also has his own interesting predictions. It'd be interesting to see what you think of of that.
Right. Can
And
I just mention real quick that Daryl
yes,
Anka just agreed to teach a workshop based on his best-selling book, The Formula. So on Saturday, he's going to teach that workshop. And then in the evening, he's going to channel Bashar on stage. And we just now made one-day passes available too. So we're just excited to add that. And then, speaking of ETs, we added a guided CE5 and UFO Skywatch on Thursday night. You have to have a pass, either a general admission pass or one-day pass to attend that, but it's going to be led by a CE5 ambassador as well as a Sedona UFO Skywatch guide. So that's really cool, some of the new stuff we've added. But yeah, William Henry, I just saw him at TCCHE with you, Alan, and he gave a
yes,
phenomenal presentation. And then a couple days later, we interviewed Robert Edward Grant, and he revealed some amazing things about Egypt. Of course, we love Sarah Bressman Cosme, Suzanne Wilson, Aaron Abke, Vivian Chavot, Chevet.
today.
Thank you, Adam Apollo.
No,
And you've
there's
interviewed a
so
lot of
many
them
good
too.
people. There's so many quality people coming to this conference. So get your tickets at Sedona Ascension Retreats And you're going to do a workshop there too, aren't you?
Yep, yep. I'll be doing a workshop as well as a journey out in nature, which I love. We did that in at the last one, and it's just so fun. So I'll be doing peace bathing in the vortex, which is going to be
Great,
super
great,
fun.
great. Well, let's get into your material. Are you still screen sharing, Suzanne? Because you
No,
can.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
you're
all
not.
present here,
Okay,
and I do have
great.
your book on Kindle because there was some things out of your book I wanted to quote. Because
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Let's
great.
start with some of those great quotes. Go ahead, Suzanne.
okay, so I had never heard the great turning of our template for
Yeah.
humanity. And I was just
Yes.
blown away by that because it incorporates, the template. And that kind of refers to like the simulation hypothesis, right? There's a template. We're each a template. It's a holographic template that's the movie unfolding. And at the same time, we're all holographic fractals in it, right? But the
Yeah. Yeah.
turning, I really felt referred to, of course, the turning of the ages, right? We're at
Yes.
the end of this
Yeah.
24,000 year cycle, which you refer to. And then it says, what will it be like upon completion of this great upending and resolution of forces, therein being sanctified ceremoniously to appeal all to this highest outcome and vibration? I
Yeah.
love that. Sanctified ceremoniously. So just prolific channeling, and you must be blown away. I mean, when you come through with these channeled messages, it must blow your mind too.
It does. It absolutely, my process is I do my Friday messages. I do them Friday. I share them on a Friday live, but I channel them on Thursday night. And when I channel, I'm kind of off in la la land. I'm over here. I'm present, but I just can't, nothing sticks in my brain. I see visuals. So I come out of it and I have an idea about what they were talking about, but I can't really understand it. So I'll channel it and I'm always like, yeah, they said something. I don't know what. And then Friday morning, I sit down and I read the message and I go through it and I analyze it for my broadcast on Fridays. It's always every time it's like a joke in my family that I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe because it just keeps growing. The last couple of messages. Oh my word, you guys. The message I got last Friday was probably my favorite message of all time.
Well, we want to hear it and share it, please.
Yes, I can tell. Oh my gosh, I can. It was incredible. It was a message. So, okay, so the thing that was incredible about this message is that they had me live the message. So I had just that morning done an interview where the angels had talked about some of the, and there are things coming. Everybody can feel it. Like even my kids are starting to feel it, that there's a lot of change in the air, that we're at like the shifting is just speeding up. And so there's a lot of fear in the world. And in that interview, the angels talked about some of the events that it can inspire fear. And I think that was on my mind. And then when I channeled the whole message, I knew they were talking about fear and they were talking about how they were going to help us. And it was very specific that it was almost like you can expect, like we have the power to step in was kind of the general idea of the message. But I didn't really get it because it's Thursday and I need distance from the message to come back and read it. That evening, I went out to dinner. And after dinner, there was this really super cool clothing boutique like right near it. And I wouldn't normally go in because it's really expensive. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go in and touch the fabrics. So we went in, I touched the fabrics, and the ladies that were in there were super nice and super engaging. They're like, come in, come in. Like, we have a secret rack in the back that we're getting ready to send back to manufacturer. It's like 40% off, which was the only thing they could have said to keep me in that store, by the way, because it was way too expensive. So, but the 40% off rack. So I went in and we start chatting, and they're awesome. And they ask, what do you do? And I blurt out, I channel angels. Immediately, the woman starts telling me this incredible story. And she says she doesn't tell the story to anybody, not even her coworker who she's good friends with. And she tells me this incredible story about how when she was young in her 20s, she was just arriving from France to the US with a newborn baby. And she arrives, has a hard time at customs, delayed 2 hours. She misses her connection, and there's no more flights out for the evening. The airport literally starts shutting down around her. She has no food, and she has $10 in her pocket, and literally she's got like a new baby with her. And so she's just distraught. So she's sitting on the floor. Literally, she finds a spot like next to one of the ticketing booths, and she's sitting on the floor with, and she nurses her baby, and she's kind of sitting there crying, like, I guess this is where I am tonight until the plane, the airport opens tomorrow. And all of a sudden, a gate agent, a ticketing agent who's wearing the uniform and everything comes up to her and she says, "Oh, are you okay? What's wrong?" And she tells her, like, gosh, I'm stuck here. And she's doing the best because her English isn't even that good at that point. So she's having a really hard time communicating. This lovely woman says, "Come with me. I'll help you. We'll get it all sorted out." She follows her over to one of the ticketing desks. The woman says, "Stay here." She goes behind the desk and she comes back with several pieces of paper and she gives her vouchers for transportation to and from the to a hotel. She gives her free vouchers for a hotel to stay in that evening. And she books her a new flight in the morning. She says, "You're all set. Have a restful evening. Come on back in the morning." The next morning, and then as soon as she does that, the woman gets down. She starts gathering up her things, gathering up her baby. She stands up and the woman's gone. She wants to thank her. The woman's gone. She can't find her. She figures she just went behind the desk or something, but she can't see her. She comes back at the next morning, gives the ticketing agent her ticket, and the woman says, "Oh, great. Who printed this ticket for you?" And she says, "The agent that was here last night." She's like, "There was no agent here last night. Everybody was gone at 8:30." And she's like, "No, she was here. It was 11:30. She described her short gray hair and nope, nobody here by that description of any sort." So
Wow.
she knows she saw an angel. So here is what is miraculous about me having this experience is I had just like 2 hours before that channel a message about how they will intervene in our lives, that miracles are possible. And I am a skeptic. So I would have had a hard time delivering that message with feeling. I would have had a hard time landing it in my own body. So they gave me an experience where I went out into the world and they had me, like, everything conspired to have me meet this woman, to have me tell her the story. I bought this sweater. It was like way too expensive. It was 40% off, but it was like I had to. After that story, I'm like, I'll buy whatever. I'll buy whatever you have.
So
And
what are the angels saying? That miracle, the angels are here, they're helping us in any way?
yes. They
Yeah.
say they have the capacity, and it's so gorgeous how they say it. They say that they have the capacity to intervene in our lives, and they say that we don't need it, that we are beings of light, we are infinitely powerful. And they say they're doing it not because we need it, but because we want it. And that they will step in and we just have to ask them. And of course, we have to ask out loud because that's how we have to communicate with our angels. But they're saying if we are truly in a situation where we feel like we need angelic intervention, they will help us. And what
Wow.
an incredibly timely message as we're heading into a period of so much change. Because that's another thing they tell us all the time. It's hilarious. I mean, they say very lovingly that we fear change, but we are actually the vibration of change, that we are change, and yet we fear change, that we walk into a room and we change the room. But yeah, a lot of change on our near
Well,
and far horizon.
what's coming down from the angels' point of view, and how do we prepare? Well, first, what is it, and how do we prepare for it?
Oh, I mean, there's so many different types of things. And right now Suzanne's been reading the book, What's Coming Next, which has the whole lowdown on the good, the bad, the great, and the amazing. Because it's the biggest thing they will say is that it's everything that's coming is leading us towards an incredible opportunity for humanity. And we are in the process of this splitting apart at the moment, that we are in the process of we have the opportunity through everything that is falling apart. And if you look at the speed with which things have started to fall apart, that if you start back in 2020, which is kind of the kickoff with which kind of set all these balls in motion. Last month, I think we had like four governments, four leaders that fell. And now, I mean, it's like it's crazy. And they've said in this year the kind of things this year they said we can expect. They've talked about earth movements. They've talked about uprising in terms of earth, as well as like revolutionary energy this year. There's a lot of disruption that's going to happen. And so they say that yes, things that we have counted on, things that we think that we need to be safe might not be there for us. But what they say is out of every single moment of destruction, everything that falls apart, that energy is being used to create something new. And so they say that take a moment, grieve what you lose, and then turn around immediately. As soon as you grieve it, turn around and see what is new, what is growing out of it, because that's where you're meant to go.
Well, certainly the LA fires are about some of that, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Mm.
Hugely so. Yeah. So I mean, they say that they strongly advise us to take basic precautions. I mean, like the Red Cross has guidelines, and we should all do that anyways. But particularly in a time period of so much uncertainty, we should have a way that to filter our water is a big one. They say over and over again, not just a Brita, but like something that will eliminate viruses, so you don't have to boil your water. They've been
Uh,
saying this forever, and I cannot tell you how many people have emailed saying thank you for that recommendation because they live in, they live in, in the American South, and they've been huge devastation, and they had to boil their water for weeks, or in LA, same thing. Right now, they're being told to boil their. Anytime you have a destruction in your area, water gets compromised, and then if you have a way of filtering it, it will save you so much heartache. Yeah.
well, what about the light, the flash of light? What's the update on? Because that's the big one, right? That's the
That's
big
the
shift.
big one. That is the amazing flash of light. Yes. And they call it, I mean, like when it comes, it will be unmistakable. A lot of people ask, like, has it happened yet? And when it comes, there will be no question. They call it rainbow starlight. When they gave me kind of a vision of it before, it was almost like crackling. It was so much energy in the air. It was almost like little arcs and crackling. And they said it will be the moment we look back on in the future. We will look back on that moment and say, that is the moment that everything changed. And in that moment, it will be like a staircase that raises our energy up. And that staircase is available to everyone. And as we shift our vibration up, we have the choice of whether or not we are going to sort of step through the doorway into a new state of being. And the only thing you have to do to step through the doorway, you don't have to have a specific belief system. You don't have to be completely clear in your energy. You don't have to be completely healed. All you have to do is to be willing to let go of what was and to allow the unknown and to step through. And that's hard. I get it. It takes a ton of trust to say, okay, I just lost what I thought I needed. And now I'm just going to step into the great unknown. But that is what creates the space for us. As long as we are holding on to old things, we're bringing the old reality into the new reality.
Well,
And that's not going to work. We have to be freed from the structures that we think of them as safety structures. They're actually the structures that have locked us in place. We have a job. We think, oh my gosh, I have to have my job. But if you are working every single day at a job that doesn't feed your soul and you're doing it to pay the rent so that you can pay your taxes so that you can work again, you know what I mean? That's not freedom. And if we
mm,
cling to that, we don't want to bring that into our new reality. So that's the idea is if we are in resistance or if we are clinging to what was, that will make it harder for us to receive the energies of the flash of light. But when we do receive them, it will change us. There is an aspect inside of us that we are the first like generation, this time period of people who are alive right now, first ones born with two aspects of our soul inside of us. We have the 3D aspect, which we've all been living with. And then we have this higher aspect. A lot of people call it 5D. It's a higher aspect of who we are. And as this energy comes, as the world opens to create space, this aspect will blossom out from inside of us. And it's a transformative process that the angels are here to supervise. They will guide us through it. But literally, we come out of this increasingly telepathic. We have emotional telepathy, and that changes everything. Like, imagine how global politics will change when we can experience each other's feelings as if they are our own. When your
wow.
reality becomes my reality, it becomes impossible to have the haves and have-nots, right? There's no such thing as a nation that has too much food and a nation that has none or not enough. When we have emotional telepathy, when we are feeling what they're experiencing as if we are experiencing it.
So we're in the preparation period for that, but is there a date? I know I've asked you that before, but in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, what are you getting?
Okay, so timing with the angels is there because they live completely outside of time and they see potentials. And we also have free will. And so what they said in one of the last, was it their last message Friday or the one before? They said that it is, so I've known for a long time the flash of light is coming from a sun. It could be our sun. It could be like the great central sun. Some people call it. It is the sun that created that where humans came like basically anyways, that's a whole nother story. I could go we had to go deep into in it to talk about that. But they say that when we are ready, this energy comes and we are increasingly ready. My guess, looking at the astrology, this is my guess, this is not channeled. I am kind of have my eyes on second half of 2026. That's my guess. So I think
Right.
it's not far off. But there's a lot of stuff that's got to happen before it occurs. There's a lot of unwinding that we're facing.
Isn't
Mm.
a lot of people on the planet too that are looking to these different dates? Like I'm reminded of 2030, right, Alan, and the
Yeah.
singularity. And there's so many in the tech industry that are focused on like this singularity moment that happens in 2030. But then in 2029, you have that comet, Apophis, I think I've been corrected
Yes, Apophis.
all right,
Yeah.
Apophis.
Yeah.
And
But
when that's supposed to come close to the earth, and I believe that Apophis uh, stands for the Egyptian god of chaos, right? And so this fiery dragon comes to planet Earth and causes chaos, right? And what that has to do with the end of an age or the end of the game or,
Yes.
whatever, what,
Yeah.
changes
what
that
what you and
disruption that will
Bashar
cause.
is also Daryl Anka is also who you'll love to meet there and at the retreat, the Sedona Ascension retreat, is predicting 2026 also for the
Oh, wow.
arrival of these beings that have been preparing us till this time approaches. So it's a real shift. I mean, it's sort of an agreement. He says around, he doesn't give an approximate date, just like you, because
Yeah.
time is changing, but it's kind of lining up
Yeah.
these cycle
Yeah.
predictions and
I
but
could see
you're
that.
pretty
Oh, go ahead.
sure something's going to come down. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
I I don't I like I said I can't they have not given me dates. My guess is that time period, but it could be a little later. But I have 100% like there's I am absolutely sure that this is coming. That I have no doubt that this is coming. And I just see so many of the things they've already told us have already happened. And it's been like a trail of breadcrumbs where they started giving me talking about this stuff in 2026. And it's just, and very crazy specific things that they've talked about have come to pass. And some of the things, it's, like maybe timelines have changed or shifted because the things almost happened or happened somewhat like they said. But many of the things happened exactly as they said.
Yeah. When did it start? When did the predictions? When did this come to you? You said
I,
what year
in
was it? You said
in the so it happened. I started getting the messages about sort of some of the scarier messages about earth changes and all that kind of stuff. That started in the second half of 2020. So for about 6 months, I was getting these messages that were all about like, oh my gosh, like watch out, it's coming. But some of those things started happening immediately, but some of them have been like it's almost like they're kind of laying it out to show okay, you're getting closer, you're getting closer. So it's been interesting to see. The biggest thing is the reason why they tell us is they just don't want us to be caught. We need to not be in fear when these events happen. And if humans
right.
don't like surprise, they don't like change, but they just like surprising change even more. So
So
they
what
tell
is
us
Earth
just
meant to
enough.
look like post this flash of light?
Oh, so the earth is changing as well. And the biggest thing that we will experience is that as we each go through this shift in consciousness, we change. And then we end up changing. Like once we are in this heightened state of awareness, everything ripples out from that. But not all people will go through it at the exact same time. The flash of light comes, but there will be some people who dive right in, and then other people who are not quite ready yet. And that is absolutely okay. There's no judgment in that. As a matter of fact, people who go over first, we're all one. They are meant to turn around and help the others. So, why is it that we have
Well,
so many healers on the planet right now and so many light workers who are here to serve? It's for this. It's so that we can turn around and help because even for those who are in the process of like people who have not yet made the transition, the planet is shifting. The planet is brighter. They may start seeing angels. They may start seeing things that create a massive crisis of faith for them of like, oh my gosh, I was an atheist, but there's an angel. So they're going to
Well, how do you
need,
dive right in?
yeah,
Okay, I was just wondering. You said dive right. How do you dive right into the flash of light?
the
When what
flash
does
of
that
light.
mean? Yeah, how do you
So
dive in?
there's actually, yeah, they gave us, that's one of the coolest things is they gave us a whole series of messages to tell us exactly what we will feel and experience during the flash of light. So they
Oh,
said that, so when it happens, they said that the angels will bring, so there are very specific angels who are many, 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 many angels who have incarnated here, that are here right now, that are not in physical bodies, they're in light bodies. So if you know people or know of people who can see angels, they are seeing the incarnated angels. They're seeing angels in light bodies that are here. And there's lots. And they are here to help guide us. Many of them are here to help guide. Everybody has a guardian angel, but there are other angels that will help us move through this process. They will put what they call an umbrella of peace over us when the flash of light comes, which is almost like taking a Xanax. It's like really. I haven't had any Xanax, but what I hear is like very relaxing. So anyways, it's the umbrella of peace will calm everybody down. So if people are worried about their children, they're worried about their people that they care for, that they will have this umbrella of peace, which will give people clarity. It will help them to stay receptive to the energies. Then we will be enveloped in like a cocoon is the best way to describe it of energy. And that cocoon comes from the angels bring it, and they say that it comes from their vision of who they know who we are, that what we evolve into, because they live outside of time, so they know our future. They have an impression of who we are becoming. They take that impression and they gift it to us as like almost like a container inside which an energetic container in which we can evolve. It creates a space that's in harmony with the higher state of consciousness that's inside of us and allows that to come forward. But they said there will be a moment during this where our bodies will begin to feel very heavy, like just like weighed down. And when that happens, they said that is the moment that we are trying to separate from our karma. So they say the karma weight is heavy energy. So they say when that happens, lay down. Just lay down and you'll have time to
wow.
get home. Like if you're at the grocery store, you don't have to lay in the grocery store aisle. You can go home, but lay down and then just be in your
I'm
peaceful
feeling that
bubble.
actually. I'm feeling that kind of thing going. Is it happening now? I mean, did they say now? It's like
It's not yet. I mean, you might
oh,
be feeling the separation because the separation is occurring. Like there's definitely the light's been hitting the planet all this time. We know like how much solar energy has been coming to the planet. So yeah, we've all been shifting like mad. And I noticed, like I was telling you, I just told you guys about the kind of the miracle message, which is like expect miracles. I cannot tell you how much I've been seeing that in people's lives around me already. How it feels like there's just more magic available to us than there ever has been.
well, you yourself are such a higher level than we talked to you last time. There's a lot more, and I mean, I feel it. Don't you feel, Suzanne, like so much more excitement and energy and just
Well, I was going to mention
positive?
that just
Oh,
like
thank you.
amongst
Yes.
humanity. So I lived in Sedona for 10 years, and now we've moved to our family ranch in San Diego. And I am just noticing with the people that I'm meeting that there's an awareness, excuse me, of this something coming. It's
Yeah.
like people that didn't seem particularly maybe spiritual, or interested in angels, or interested in spirituality, or even religion, are really stepping into that now. And they have like this fascination about it. It's like an upliftment. And people I know that weren't really spiritual before, who I've known for a long time, suddenly they're talking about a higher self, or they're stepping out of jobs
Yeah.
that were very traditional, and they're exploring new ways of serving
Yeah.
that feel more natural or
Well,
organic or authentic alignment, with their true self. And so I'm just noticing that. But what I wanted to say about, you were talking about this flash of light. It reminded me of this gentleman's YouTube where he's talking about this plasma apocalypse, but it's very similar. He talks about a blue light He's actually
Oh,
kind of
interesting.
saying when Apophis hits, it's going to open the earth, and this electromagnetic energy is going to come out from the core of the earth, and it's going to create this like blue electromagnetic field that
Wow.
uplifts everybody. And
Well,
it's going to
sounds
have
similar.
this like vision of a pillar coming out from the earth, but it splits into, there'll be like, it looks like three, and it looks like an angel coming out from the
Oh,
center
wow.
of the earth, this electromagnetic angel, and there's all this blue electromagnetic field that's uplifting everybody into this new higher state.
It is so, we're living in such strange times. But, Anne, don't you feel it in your body? Don't you feel the kind of energetic upgrade? I mean, I'm
Yes.
sensing it. What are
And
you feeling?
my dreams are showing me as well. So I'm having really amazing dreams right now, showing where, what's changing in me. And it's been amazing, absolutely amazing. So, yeah.
But do you feel it in your body physiologically, stuff going on?
What I feel is, I mean, it's not like I feel it in my organs or whatever. I'm not, some people are extremely, I guess I would call it somatic. And I'm an air sign. I'm a little bit more I'm more attuned to my energetic field than I am to to like the actual physical. But what I feel is just an overwhelming sense of upliftment. I feel ease. I feel flow. I feel faith. I feel it's a wonderful feeling. I feel very much so. My dreams right now are showing me that that they're showing me that while I can be on a dharmic path, that and it was fascinating. This is a fascinating thing that I learned in one of my last dreams is that I can be on a dharmic path, which to be in a dharmic path, it just means that you're not living by the rules of karma, that it's much more free will based and you're in flow. It's a little bit being more into your feminine energy, being it's the balance, obviously, the balance of the masculine and feminine, but we think of the masculine, we think of the feminine. This is about being flowing with what happens in your world. But when I work in my work, I need to step into my business has to stay karmic. And that is because it is serving to help people free themselves from karma. So I have to step into it from a karmic perspective. But I'm aware right now, I am aware of that dance that I will do, that when I'm working, I will step into the business, my work, what I'm doing, and I will step into that karmic vehicle, but that I can do that and live a dharmic life. So I do feel like my brain is expanding as I'm being given these deeper and deeper concepts. They've been sharing with me incredible stuff about the origin of humankind, about the structure of the universe. I mean, it's been mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. And yeah,
Are these things everyone's going to know after the light comes? Will you all know the real history of the universe and the science of incarnation and what spirit is? Is that something that's
we will be able, as we connect, we will be able to tap into universal knowledge. So yeah, so we'll be able to, it's like if you ask the question, you'll get the answer. So in a way
mm,
that we can process and understand, in a way that is so, and that is one of the fascinating things about as you guys are talking to so many different people, you guys are so connected in our spiritual communities and spiritual world, and you talked to and you so I'm sure you see so many different people talking, like you were talking about the guy with the blue light. Is that the flash of light? There's so many people looking at the same thing. It's like they tell the story of the seven blind people touching an elephant and how they all describe it differently, but they're all talking about the same animal. And so I think even after we go through the shift, we will have perspectives that we will tap into universal knowledge, and then we will receive from what is our own individuality, right? We will retain,
mm,
it'll be that balance between being unified with all that is, and yet remaining, we're keeping the lessons that we've gained through separation, the essence of identity of I am.
right? But what? Oh, go ahead, Suzanne. Go ahead.
I think what feels so compelling is this general knowledge that there is an end coming. I mean, just the Bible, right? And the book of Revelations talking, because I noticed in your book, the angels were talking about the 3 days of darkness. And that's
Yeah.
clearly written in the book of Revelations that there'll be 3 days of darkness, before this war in the heavens ensues. And you have the, angel throwing the beast back into the planet or back into the pit, right? And
Yeah.
so then the new earth prevails, right? The new earth arises. And the only reason I'm really bringing that up is because you have on YouTube a lot of churches, these big mega churches with the
Yeah.
pastors or ministers or what have you, really talking about this to the masses right now. On the religious side of things and on the spiritual side of things, we're all talking about this ascension. And to them, you may be talking about resurrection or what have you. We're talking about ascension, but it's
Mhm.
like this collective consciousness around this coming of a new age. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that alone manifested in the collective consciousness, right?
Yeah, you're super right. And you're right there. I feel there is this massive, and it will continue, this massive rise of interest in spirit. People are feeling it. And I think
Mm.
that the biggest thing I would love for people to take from this whole conversation and to take and to share with who will listen is the angels have been very, very clear. It doesn't matter what people's belief systems are. It doesn't matter if they
Thank
follow one
you.
church or a different church or no church or spirituality or whatever they do, that all are welcome, that that, and you don't have to be perfect, all are welcome, and that all we
Mm.
have to do is be willing to let go of the things that are not serving us and be willing to open, and that means some
Mhm.
things we might think we need them but we actually don't. And
Right.
being open to what comes, that's all we have to do.
So on a practical level, though, you said get some food, get some water, be prepared. And
Yes.
what ways, which should we get out of the cities? I mean, what do you think? I think you mentioned that last time, but what's the
Yeah.
big picture preparation?
There are like things will get, and can get a little bit crazy in the short term. But the fact is that even within that, we still have the potential to thrive. That we increasingly, and this is where the miracle part comes in, we are increasingly creating our own realities. That even if you are within a space where there's chaos outside, if you close your blinds and your door and you look at your four walls and you bring your awareness here, you are safe, right? Your world, you are okay. You are creating a reality within which like things are peaceful. Things are reflecting who you are on the inside. But they do say make it so that you are not, there's no urgency in your situation, is how they phrased it. Make sure you're in a position, there's no urgency. So have a way to filter your water. I think they said it specifically, like have more. They know that most people only have like a week of food in their house. Have more than that. They said have more, but buy things that don't expire. I always joke, buy a big bag of rice and a big bag of beans, get a big one. And then it's just there and you never have to worry about it. They said it's not that there will be nothing available, it's that there won't be everything available. So you want to have you want to have some things to make your life easy. So you're not rushing to the store when everybody's rushing to the store. They say that please have cash on hand, not large bills, but very small bills. And this was huge. This has happened like in Asheville. People are saying like that there was no payment processing. That's one of the things the angels specifically mentioned, that payment processing will not be working. So how do you pay for your gas and groceries? If all you have is a $50 bill and they don't have change, you're paying $50 for a loaf of bread. So you want to have fives and ones and tens. You want to have small bills and just keep them, we're not talking about enough to pay your rent, because if the banks close, nobody's going to expect you to pay your rent, but you might need to get some gas or you might need to get some groceries. So have small bills, have a way, a little bit of cash, a way to filter your water, have some food, a back stock of food that is just, you kind of keep it there, that's not going to expire. And then in terms of where to live, a lot of people ask about that. It's super important to listen to your heart. Don't move because of fear. And fear is, anytime we have fear, we're in our head. That we think things, or we listening to things, and we start planning and we think, is that my heart telling me? If you're feeling scared, it's not your heart. So it's that idea of tune in to what your heart is telling you. And you do that by finding joy. Does it feel joyful to move? Is there another place that would bring you joy? And then really tuning into your intuition, listening if you're getting messages, however they're coming in, if they're coming in your dreams, if they're coming in through crazy coincidences where 3 times in a day people are coming up and saying, hey, have you ever thought about moving to, Wyoming or whatever it is? Like maybe tune into that. How does Wyoming feel? Does it feel joyful?
So it's great your enthusiasm. I love talking to you because you're so excited about the possibilities of what's coming down in the
Oh
future,
gosh, yeah.
and the future of humanity, which is why Suzanne's putting on these ascension retreats, because it's all kind of coming together. Are you getting updates every day about a new kind of part of this bigger picture? I mean, when you channel the angels, maybe you could do it on the show here. Is it something new every time, or are they both basically saying what they've always said?
No, it's the messages constantly change. And so I channel and the messages I deliver on Friday, I feel like they're up there all week preparing these messages to share. And they have never been the same. They're constantly, I feel like it's one long conversation they've been having with us. And as they gave us kind of the initial bit, they've been slowly building this relationship, and they go deeper and deeper and deeper. And they'll usually give messages in a series. So for example, there was a whole series about what will you feel like during the flash of light? How will it affect your physical body? What will you see, feel, think, touch, know? How will you behave during the flash of light? Then there was a whole nother series. Like this most recent series has been about like, how do you, it's really about how the angels are going to help us, which is amazing. But they'll have sort of groupings of messages that they'll deliver 3 or 4 weeks, and it's like a continuing conversation every week. They bring and they'll refer back to things, they'll refer back to things that they talked about in the past. So there's this cohesiveness through the whole thread, but
Mhm.
it's always it's a relationship, and they're constantly cultivating and deepening the relationship with us.
And where can people hear your messages every week? Where do they?
Yeah, so I'd love for people to find me on YouTube, which is just my name. It's just at Ann Tucker on YouTube, and I post a new message every Friday.
Wow. And what will you be doing in Sedona? You're doing a workshop. What will you be focused on there?
So in the workshop, I share I help people understand what their soul type is, which is a super fun and easy, accessible way to understand how to work with your own creative energy. That we always think that we all create, or that we think, or that we exist in ways that are similar to other people. We're not actually aware of what our creative process is, and it's tied to our thought process. You always hear the phrase that thoughts become things. Well, our thoughts are structured. We have a certain way of problem solving. Each of us has one, and so yours is different from Suzanne's, which is different from mine. And if you understand the structure of your thought process, it determines what you are best at creating. And so creation happens like a timeline, like it happens in a series of steps. And each of us is most gifted at one of those steps. And if we understand where we fit like a puzzle piece the best, where it's just natural for us to shine, then we can bring that into our work in the world. So it's an amazing thing to understand about ourselves. So I'll be help in the workshop. I will be sharing people. I have an easy way to be able to tell people what their soul type is and what it means for them.
Wow. And then you'll also be bringing through the angels at some point.
Yeah, yeah. So Suzanne is going to we've just got a wonderful lineup of speakers. I will be closing out the event on the last night, sharing the
Oh,
angels.
Right?
great.
Wanted to make
Wow.
everybody stay, and they're gonna definitely stay to the end. So,
That's great. But does your angels have a little message here for us, you think?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Would you like to? I can bring them in for you.
can I ask
Oh,
a
yeah.
quick question?
Yes.
Yeah,
If the angels are coming through, so
yeah.
I feel very compelled to have these events during the equinox, and what might be special about the spring equinox, and then also about the Sedona vortex. I really feel compelled to do it in Sedona with that Sedona vortex. So I don't know if they might be willing to answer either or both of those questions.
Yeah. So what is the so you said you want is the question, should
What's
I, or
special
what
about the spring equinox? And the
Oh, what is special
equinoxes.
about it? And
Mhm.
from the perspective of having an event?
Yeah.
Yeah, about the equinox in general, the how people even in ancient civilizations built whole temples around
Oh, yeah,
the
about the
rising sun
equinox.
of the spring equinox. And like,
Yeah.
what is it about the time of the equinox and human consciousness, I would guess. And then
Yeah.
also just the vortex of Sedona, and what effects does that have on a consciousness?
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, for sure. Remind me when the spring equinox is. Do you know?
Yeah, it's the March 21st, probably, but
Okay.
there's like a 2 week window, I understand, before and after that you're
Yeah.
in the, equinox
Yeah.
energies.
So
Yeah. Awesome.
we're doing the event on the 14th, March 14th to the 16th in that window, in that equinox window.
Oh, that
Thank
is going
you.
to be awesome. I always love it when it's almost like even if you don't even think about it, you end up doing big events on these incredibly energetic, time periods. It's just awesome. So yeah, that will be exciting to be there during that time period, Suzanne. Really cool. All right, you guys.
Yes.
So go ahead. If you guys will meditate with me for just a moment, we'll ground
Yes.
and then I'll bring in the angels. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes and drop down from your tailbone a nice thick root that goes down through the floor and down into the ground. And follow it down with your mind as it grows and expands, growing deeper and deeper into the earth. Following it down where it's dark and cool, extending longer and longer. Following it all the way down to the very, very center of the earth. And when it reaches that center point, feel the root sprout and anchor itself in. And as it does, notice that the root is pulling gently and becoming taut. And feel as that tautness moves all the way up the root. And then all the way up your spine, anchoring you securely to the earth. I'd like to ask the angels to please help me to be a clear channel of healing and information for our highest and best good. And please help us to receive this healing and information. Thank you. I'll bring in the angels. Blessings, blessings. We are within. We begin speaking with you now upon the context of your surroundings, wherein which you live, about the circumstances of your lives now. There are conundrums at play. Indecision is everywhere. There are flighty moments of despair that come and go. The sense of yourselves is everywhere and nowhere at once. The timekeeping, the timepieces of your surrender cannot be found as they once were. You cannot know yourselves how you've been. You cannot continue on in the same modes and methods which have heretofore been counted upon. There is change in the air, and it is everywhere. And we speak to this now for the purpose of giving you solvency, of assisting you, aiding you in the understanding of what is fluidity. You are within a vibration that attenuates the body to a frequency more liquefied than what you have known and what you have been experiencing before now. You are becoming more attuned to vibrations that are in competition with that which is earthbound and terrestrial. It creates within your physical form a foundationless uprising of emotion and turmoil. We speak to this now as you are experiencing yourselves within the contemplation of your surroundings, which appear to reflect the internal combustion which appears to be taking place. You feel yourselves on the cusp of new beginnings, and change is everywhere. And we speak to you now from the wholeness which you have come to achieve into the broadening of your perspective, where tomorrow does play. You shall find yourselves at peace, restful, within a vision of yourselves as contemplative and contented. But this cannot be achieved without transition from where you currently know reality to exist. There shall be upheaval. The internal substrate, the foundation, the underpinnings of your reality have been based in a harmonic vibration that is attuned to what the earth has been. And she is in the process of her own great shift of awareness, liquefaction, the attunement toward what is flow and uncertainty. These are your new beginnings, and it shall not feel as it was. Surrender, surrender shall bring you ease. Do not fight what feels to be in contrast to what has been. Allow yourselves to recognize the fluidity of your own souls, which inhabit within what seems to be a chaotic sphere without structure, always. They are contented to know a world in fluid form. Your soul will inhabit this new sphere readily. However, the consciousness that you are must accept this new state of being. It comes within the context of surrender. We speak to this now. Do you have questions for us?
Yes. So I know you can't give a time frame, but what signs can we look for that would be visible in the world that will set the stage? I mean, it's happening now, but is there anything else we should look for?
Signs are everywhere. All things are signposts, signage directing you toward where you want to go. All signs point north toward your own new beginnings. Signage is the embodiment of all that is earthly. All of reality conspires toward this newly developing experience of what it is to be human. All things are signs. Do you understand us?
Yes, I do. And we're seeing new signs and recognizing new um, things in our environment that are hitting us differently, I would say.
Correct.
So Suzanne had a question. Suzanne, do you want to ask her a question about the unmute, Suzanne. Un, yeah.
Yes. And so the first question has to do with the equinoxes, and particularly the spring equinox, and what is special about the 2 week window around the spring equinox, and what impact does it have on the consciousness?
This is a transformational window, an aperture opening. New beginnings form within it more easily. Transformation is more readily available to you. New beginnings surrendered to come more easily, more easily. Transformative. It is a positioning of your soul within a window where you are readily able to let bygones be bygones, to let go of what must be surrendered. You are more viscous, more easily separated from that which does not serve you. Do you understand us?
I do. I like that. And then there are vortex sites on planet Earth, and some say there's 12 vortex sites, like there's 12 chakras. What is special about the Sedona vortex?
Sedona contains vibrations and minerals which accelerate your thought processes. It accelerates your mind matter. It creates new thought for celebrating yourselves. It creates new beginnings of thought, accelerated thought processes, which then become creative into matter. It is a processing place, a placement within the earth wherein creativity can be accelerated. Do you understand us?
Yes. That's a perfect time and place for a gathering of souls, then, that facilitates a very transformational shift.
You are truly guided in your desire to be and place in this event as you have.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Um, I have a question. There's been a lot of activity in the skies lately. There's what they call drones, there's plasma. How are you, the angels, and wherever you're from, connected to the extraterrestrial phenomena or interdimensional phenomena of other beings? And is that in alignment with what you're doing? And how do you feel about all that?
We are in love with all of humanity and all races of beings. We are now and have always been a universal construct, an essence. We encase and combine with all beingness that exists in the universe, universally loving what is. Therefore, we contain within our knowledge and our hearts relationships to all such travelers. Do you understand us?
Yes, yeah. What about the unloving beings? I mean, they just need to be loved. What do you do with them? The beings that don't have that place
They are
yet.
beings of light as you are. There cannot be unguarded behavior. Unregulated trespass will not be acceptable when you are in the process of formulating your new beginnings. These shall not be allowed. It is this that you are questioning. How shall there be free passage when or if there has been interference? Yes?
Yes. So there shall not be. So the
There
vib
shall not be.
the
There
vib
shall be clear passage
Mhm.
for humanity.
So this new time, will there be countries or religions or I mean maybe I mean will the earth totally change its socio-cultural approach to each other?
We like this question very much. We say that the earth herself does not have boundaries. You have made them. It is a human construction that no longer exists in humanity's future. There shall not be nation states as there once have been. There shall, however, remain cultural differences, ways of being and executing a life that are preferred. or orchestrated between one group and another, but all of humanity shall be in cooperation with itself and each other. Do you understand us?
Yes. Will there be new technologies? I suppose there will be, without fossil fuel, just zero point energy, as it's called. Do you see that coming?
There shall be new ways of travel. We've spoken of this before. New ways of getting there, wherever you are. The envoy of humanity into the forefront of what is a galactic relationship with other beings will occur within this time frame, this living that you are experiencing. There shall be broken down the barriers which have protected you from these incursions. You will be preparing yourselves within the structure of peaceful dialogues between yourselves. Once peace has been achieved, there shall be others that shall come and shall serve the harmonious nature of humanity to empty itself of what has been hardship. Do you understand us?
Yes, thank you for that. So you don't have a time frame, but you have a rough estimate of your time frame?
It shall be within time periods you find acceptable. It
Hmm.
shall be soon. Soon.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Suzanne, anything? Or should we just ask for a closing
No,
prayer?
I feel complete with that. Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Could
angels
you,
and Anne.
could you give us a
We
little prayer before you go, or blessing, or
we are
energetic?
grateful. We are pleased you have asked for this energetic exchange of light. And we draw you to us, each and every one, we draw you to us in an embrace of surrendered loving exchange. We give to you our hearts. We give to you the love to serve within the context of your own growth and ascension. We give to you the light we carry. We give to you the love of divine energy. We say within the context of your own understanding that you are blessed, that you are blessed, and blessed again. We thank you. We say goodbye.
Hmm. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you, Anne.
That was
Thank you,
lovely.
Queen.
Thank you.
What I miss.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Actually, I felt really like napping or sleep. It put me into an altered state. I just had to shut off the camera and just close my eyes and absorb it.
Oh, that's awesome. 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 That's so cool. Well, they will never miss an opportunity for healing if you give it to them. So that is awesome.
What did you feel, Suzanne?
Same thing. I felt very meditative when I closed my eyes and you had us run energy to the center of the earth, and I got so still and just peaceful and content. And I'm feeling on cloud nine as we close our interview. So I'm going to take that into the
Yay.
rest of my day here. Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. I really look forward to seeing you in Sedona, March 14th to the 16th, 2025, at Suzanne Ross's Sedona Ascension Retreat, or SedonaAscensionRetreats.com for tickets. It's going to be a fantastic gathering with you and Bashar and Robert Edward Grant and Adam Apollo. And these are major superstars, William Henry, JJ, and Desiree Hurtak. So it's a time. Thank you,
And really
Suzanne.
in alignment, isn't it, Alan, with the messages that Anne and the angels are bringing through today about a new humanity uniting and a new earth arising. I am really praying for more global unity and harmony. And I love how you said any traditions, religion, spirituality, the indigenous beliefs, like all spiritual traditions, all religions, all
Yeah.
indigenous, it's just everyone coming together, merging it all and finding common ground. That's what I
Do you want
pray
to
for.
hear the quote from the angels where they said it last week? It's such a beautiful paragraph. I can grab it if
Yes.
you want. Okay, I'll grab it. I
Yes,
have it
grab
right
it.
here.
Um,
I just keep it on
because
my
I want to
desk.
say to you, Suzanne, that before she reads that, I think you were guided to do these events somehow because of this time that people need to share and hear this information and come together. So
You,
you
Alan.
listen to your own guidance, and I think that's why we're gathering. So thank you for that.
Oh,
No.
so true.
Yes.
Yes. So, and let me grab this for you, the page that it's on. Yes, here it is. Yeah, they say, know that you are guarded equally. All persons are held in a harmonious quiet within the arms of angels. Know that all persons are welcomed into the new sphere of belonging, regardless of faith or disposition. All who are open to the perspective of I will, all who choose it, all who wish to shall come within the framework of a new world, and this is opening. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
belonging. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. They're always inclusive. Yeah, it's so amazing.
well, it'll be great to see you, Anne, again. Let's have lunch again and
Yes. Sounds
connect.
great. I love it. And you too, Suzanne. I didn't get to lunch with you last time, so let's do it this time.
I would love that.
I know you'll
Yes.
be swamped, but it would be fun.
I can sneak away. Yes.
Okay, great, great. All right,
Thanks for your
guys.
time. Thanks for your time, Anne. So people will find you every Friday. What's your website again?
My website is my name. It's anntucker.com. It's Ann with an E. And then the YouTube is the same. It's also Ann Tucker. And my book is called What's Coming Next on Amazon.
I see it behind
Right.
you there.
Yeah.
Show everyone your book. And I love
When did you
it.
publish that book? I didn't know you
Yeah.
had a book. So
Yeah, it was just at the end of like in November, early November, it came out.
great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Well,
you
look,
so much. Yeah, it's been very well received. So it's been super fun. Loads of it's been a bestseller in several countries. And so yeah, very exciting.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
great.
I'm so glad
Great.
that's getting out around the
yeah,
world. It's going to make
thank
a global
you.
difference, and
Thanks so much for being here today. Thank you, Suzanne, and see everyone at the Sedona Ascension Retreat, March 14th to 16th, 2025. Go to the website, SedonaAscensionRetreats.com. Get your tickets and see these, including Anne and all these other fantastic people. Okay,
thank
Sounds
you.
thanks.
great.
We'll
See you
see you in
there.
Sedona. Mwah.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye,
Bye.
guys.